Welcome, my dear students. In this video, we will discuss about the first part of the proof of the completion of a metric space theorem. So, in the first part, we have to establish a space x cap, which is defined as x cap d cap, by adding the limits of the Cauchy sequence, which does not converge in x, to form a new set x cap. I have already told you the construction is such that those Cauchy sequence which converge to a unique point or the same point must be represented by a single element. So our construction is proceeded as follows. We take two sequences xn and xn dash, which are Cauchy sequences in x. So it converges, but not necessarily in x. So the problem is associated with xn and xn dash, there may exist two distinct points or one point as their limits. So if at all both of them corresponds to the same limit, then we have to associate them as a single element. That's why we define an equivalent relation. So two sequence xn and xn dash is related if limit of d xn xn dash is 0. That is, xn and xn dash are arbitrarily close after a certain stage, which means that both of them converge to the same point. So those sequence which converge to the same point must be related. Due to this relation, associated with an equivalence relation, there may exist equivalent classes. So there should exist equivalent class x cap, y cap, etc. The equivalence class x cap consists of all the Cauchy sequences in x which converges to x. So x cap consists of all the sequences which converge to x. Associated with all such sequences, we only added a single element x. Associated with y cap, there may exist several Cauchy sequences. All of them converge to y. But associated with all those sequences, we have just added a single element y. So this is how we add elements, distinct elements onto x to form x cap. So corresponding to distinct Cauchy sequences, we get distinct equivalent classes, each of them represented by a unique element which will be added in x cap. Now the problem is we have a metric space xd, we had one. Now we added some points into x to form a new space or set which is a superset of x. Now the natural question is, associated with these new points, we have to define a metric as well. So for already existing points which are common to x cap and x, the metric should be identical. But for the new points which have been added, we should be able to define the metric. So that is what we are going to do in the next step. Let xn be a sequence in x cap, that is xn converges to x. and yn be another sequence in y cap, that is yn converges to y. Then the metric d cap of x cap y cap should be equal to limit d of xn yn. Since xn and yn are elements in capital X and d is a metric in capital X, d of xn yn exists for each n. It must be a sequence and it must converge to some point. That point should be the metric associated with x cap, y cap. Those are the new points which have been added onto x. So this is our definition of a metric. Now the problem is we may or may not know the fact that it satisfies all the properties of a metric. We have defined a real valued function because d is a real valued function. So limit of d is also a real valued function. We have defined one such function, but we didn't know whether or not this function itself is a metric. So in order for a function to be metric, it should satisfy certain condition. First, this limit should exist and it should be a real number and it should be well defined. These are the properties which first we have to prove. So how will we be proving that? So in the first step, we will prove that this limit actually exists and is a real number, which is what the first condition of a metric. Now take d of xn ym. Now we add 2 points xm and ym in between xn and yn. If you take xn and yn as 2 points on a line segment, add xm in between and ym in between. Then the distance between xn and yn should be greater than distance between xn and xm, xm and ym and yn by triangle inequality of a metric space. So d of xn yn should be less than or equal to d of xn xm plus d of xm ym plus d of ym yn. Now we move this term d of xm ym onto the left hand side. So what we obtain is d of xn yn minus d of xm ym is less than or equal to d of xn xm plus d of ym yn. So in our case, we assume that xn and yn are Cauchy sequence. Since xn and yn are Cauchy sequence, d of xn yn should be less than or equal to some number epsilon by 2. Similarly, yn is Cauchy means d of yn is less than epsilon by 2 after a certain stage. So this is what we already know. This is the first inequality which we are getting. Now we interchange m and n. The inequality won't change at all. Or we will start with xm ym and add 2 points xn yn in between them. So d of xm ym should be less than or equal to d of xn plus d of xn yn plus d of yn. Now we move the d of xn yn onto the left hand side. You get the same inequality as here. The only difference is that you interchange m as n and n as m. So in both the cases, d of xn yn minus d of xm ym is less than this sum. And similarly, d of xm ym minus d of xn yn is less than this sum. So in general, if we take the modulus, which should be less than this number. We have already told you that since xn and yn are Cauchy, d of xn xm and d of yn ym should be less than epsilon by 2 for all m after a certain stage. So we can make this right side as epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2, which is less than epsilon. So what we have assumed is that this right hand side can be as small as possible. Since d of xn yn, d is a real valued function, so this should be a real number and this should be a real number. I take it as some tn, so this should be represented as tn minus tm is less than epsilon after a certain stage, which means this sequence is Cauchy. Since all of them are real valued and set of all real numbers is a complete space, this sequence converges and converges in R. What I have told you is that if you take this d of xn yn as tn, this as tm, all of them are real valued since d is a real valued function. So d of xn xm is the image of xn yn, which should be a real number. So this should be represented as tn, this should be represented as tm. So tn minus tm is less than epsilon, which further implies the fact that tn is a real valued function which is Cauchy. Since R is complete, we can safely say that the sequence converges, that the sequence tn is converges. So this sequence converges means the limit should exist. The limit of such sequence is d cap xn x cap y cap. So since the limit exists, we can say that limit n tends to infinity, d of xn yn should be a number, okay, or a real number, which is what we have established. So associated with the points x cap comma y cap, which belongs to capital X cap, d cap of x cap y cap, which is defined as limit n tends to infinity xn d of xn yn always exists, because this limit exists since it is Cauchy by this definition and this is a real number, so it's a real Cauchy sequence. Since R is complete, real Cauchy sequence converges, which means the limit of this sequence exists, so it should be a real number, which is what we have established as the first part. So the limit exists. Now what we have to do is, now we have to establish the fact that it is independent of the terms which we choose. That means instead of xn yn, if you represent it by some other term yn dash, the limit should always be same. So in other words, we have to establish the fact that the definition is valid in the sense that it should not depend upon the variable. So instead of xn and x, if you represent it by some other possible representation, the definition does not change or the limit does not change at all. For establishing that fact, we take xn dash, which is equivalent to xn, which means xn and xn dash converges to the same point, and yn dash, which is equivalent to yn, which means yn and yn dash converge to the same point. Instead of xm ym, we substitute xn dash and yn dash. So by this inequality, we can substitute xn as xn dash, ym as yn dash. So the same inequality holds, which means that d of x less than or equal to d of xn dash plus d of yn dash. But we have already established the fact that when two numbers which belongs to the same equivalence class, its limit should be equal to 0. So it should be clear that this should be equal to 0 as n tends to infinity. So d of xn yn's limits and d of xn dash yn dash limit are same. So it is independent of the representations.